I've never done this. So fun.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, they're like dressed in costume. Who else is dressed in costume?
Going into this challenge, my brother and I need to step it up and get to the top. We need to be trying things, risking everything on our build. It's time to get serious right now.
Focused on Corey.
The last time we saw Will, he smashed something to smithereens with a bat.
Flynn,
Who knows what's coming?
Bring it, Flynn.
Let's go, Flynn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Your job is to build the other half. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
That second half can be whatever you want it to be.
So difficult.
I love it, and they have the studs on it too, so you can continue.
That is so within our wheelhouse.
All I'm seeing is
Flynn!
this big pinata.
Within our
Look
wheel.
away from it. We just locked eyes.
Okay. You have 12 hours to complete your build.
They're featuring
It's first come,
Play Well
first serve.
staff,
So on
Flynn
my
and
call,
I love
run
it.
in there and grab the item you want.
You have to
Get your
sprint.
break on!
Oh man.
We're running towards the clock. And I look up, and Flynn's right in front of Mark and Boone.
I'm one step away.
Go, go, go.
And Flynn is like,
Just kidding.
Wow, he got it. Got it. Flynn got it.
What's left is the last.
Save.
okay, careful, careful.
The sprinting.
This is absolutely the last one I wanted.
That is a classroom
So,
management don't.
we get
by
the
way.
laptop.
Yeah, no running.
Sprint towards your pieces, everybody.
Oh, they
And some
Ooh, a
moving limbs, and you're gonna be able to
clockwork
see
man,
the
that's
gears
cool.
moving
Nice.
inside. What do you think?
That's great.
Yeah,
Last
Flynn.
challenge was tough, and Flynn
Play
was feeling
well.
the
Let's
pressure.
go.
I'll let you down.
What? No, you haven't.
You got it.
Not
You
at
got it,
all.
guys. Come
I was
on.
afraid you were gonna go home too. But coming into the
happened?
new challenge, I have new confidence in our ability to do this here. We've got our creative juices flowing, so everybody just
Yeah,
better watch out.
Flynn. Look at that confidence.
We're gonna do the
Yeah,
abdomen.
I'm wondering if it's
of
good to have
Timmy
like
the monkey,
one real
and then
like
his
storyteller
hands
person
are
and
gonna
one
be two
technical
bananas
builder,
sticking out.
or,
Yeah.
you know,
A giant kraken or a giant
Yeah,
squid,
Aaron.
a sailboat. It's gonna have moving parts.
Love
it's
it.
gonna be super
Let's
awesome.
go
Brick, diamond bell, they
beneath
give
the
each other
surface. Ooh, whoa,
nice
what in the
compliment. Nice
world?
compliment.
Wow.
Gold brick into the mill.
Oh, they're gonna
Yeah.
build with the golden brick.
is power to save you
they're
from
putting it in
elimination,
there?
but
Don't lose
if we
it.
do our job,
I'd be so
we'll
worried
never have
about
to use
losing
it.
it.
Don't lose that golden brick.
I can't do it. Do
I
not
love
do
that they're featuring Corey. Finally.
Okay.
I'm
Go
so
for it.
happy that these guys are doing it together as brothers. It just makes me
I
so
know,
happy.
that makes me so happy.
Yeah, I think so much of this is like touching base at the beginning and saying like who's in charge of what.
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna do? What am I gonna do? And make sure that you're kind of, you know.
Power. So we have to dress this
Power
up to
for
look like a
power,
race
okay.
car, but to still have it connected to the horse's head. And like any sports car, you have decals, you have other special things that make it look
Ooh.
fun, make it pop.
Love the ambition,
Oh, they're doing a
but
car.
you guys, your
Yeah.
fingers are going to be on fire
Oh yeah.
if you're trying to build something that big. You know, are you actually going to be able
Horsepower.
to deliver on that?
Yes. With this particular build, we want to go bigger, more ambitious in order to make our project stand out. We are charging full speed ahead. We got this.
Richard and Flynn?
Aaron and Christian.
All right.
Double play well. Come on, one more.
Tyler and
Fire.
Amy. You could do it.
Now go out there and finish those builds.
Come on, Corey.
Oh, I thought they were gonna give them suggestions, but I guess
Oh, they didn't do anything. They just
it's just like, hey, good luck.
pep talk.
Good luck with this.
Pep talk and good luck.
Have fun with this.
Not gonna lie, I'm still not fully clear how you're integrating the
I'm getting
piñata
nervous.
into this.
Oh, it's gonna raise all up.
Can you tell me one more time how
Sure.
are these attaching somehow together?
There's only a couple hours left. Time is against us. We're going to be elevating this upwards.
Okay.
We're under 2 hours now.
Yes, we see the clock. At this point, because of what we've built so far, it's too late to scrap everything and start over.
They're raising,
Building.
so they're making a car, but then they have
We're going to continue to build and make our race car look like a race car with some simple build designs. And hopefully, it can all come together soon.
I don't know.
So,
That's
we made our bed. We lie in it.
She do a 1x2 there. We've been married for 9 years. We've been through our ups and downs.
Let's go.
But this is probably the biggest thing that we've ever done together, and I feel like it's really bringing us closer together.
Now it's starting to
Look at
come
the
to
gearing.
life, isn't it?
love
You're
it.
so talented.
Oh, beautiful. It's like the kiwi at the bottom.
Last one.
3, 2,
Bricks down. Prize, but one team will see their time here.
Oh, look at that.
cut
Did you see
short.
that squid coming through the water?
Yeah.
Half diving helmet. What
Is it
appears to
motorized?
be a peaceful
What?
island turns out to be
Yeah,
an enormous
yeah,
kraken
I love
under
that.
the sea.
Oh, come on.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
It's
cool.
motorized.
What an amazing
But do you
model.
see how
It
the
is
top
beautiful.
of the squid
We're very
it
familiar
like
from the
turns
last
into an
two
island
challenges that you
coming
guys
above?
can
That
build.
is
In many ways, you don't
that
have
is
to
really
prove
nice.
that to us. What you do have to show is your range. This was a sculpting challenge, so you could have tried to really go all in on that.
You guys have done a really nice story that fits in with the helmet. You're obviously very skilled. I love the tentacles, I love the detail, but I would have loved to see that kraken actually be enormous.
Sure.
And for you guys to push yourself a little bit more.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Now
Feel
can
like
I-
it's not big enough. Goodness. Oh.
Once upon a time, there was a
Yes.
village built beneath a giant clock.
Yes.
After many years, the clock fell into disrepair and wound down. So the villagers came together to build a clockwork man that would be able to make sure that the clock never wound down again.
Ooh, I love it.
Yes.
That's
You
right.
can hear it.
That's so
Love
cool.
the story.
You've given us a really dynamic and
Good job, man.
interesting model
Yeah,
that ties
Flynn,
in
yes.
really well to the cuckoo clock. There's some great details in this little village down below. You have the eye ticking and you have the gears that are turning, and that brings this model to the next level.
I'm just thinking about the way that the
Yeah,
smile
that's great.
ties into the little bit of the opening there. It's really using the form and carrying it through. Really solid
Oh,
model.
thank you so much.
Yeah, Flynn, let's go.
Car, all you need is candy. We have our engineers all over here making sure that we bring this pinata power to life. So, what is it gonna take to get you guys in this pinata power?
Great pitch. Sold.
Awesome.
Before I buy it, I'd love to hear from our brick masters.
Absolutely.
We wanted the story to speak for itself.
I think it actually requires you guys to tell the story for us to get it. I do see parts of a car here. What I'm not seeing is a full concept. You don't have the wheels, and it's really not tying into the icon that you got.
I love that you have brought a little bit of the piñata aspect with having all these sweets inside, but I think you guys just ran out of time and it's not finished enough for it to shout car.
I feel awful about this. I could
They
have
did
pushed
the best
a
they
little
could,
harder,
man.
having it connected. That was the thing I struggled with that, man.
No.
I struggled with that. I feel like I let my brother down, and that's a hard thing for me to feel. You too.
That's spectacular.
That's good. Come on, Flynn. Come
Okay.
on, Flynn.
Come on,
Brick
Flynn.
masters,
Come on.
which team
Let's go.
had the best build in the cut in half challenge?
The winning team for the Cut in Half Challenge,
Flynn. They're gonna.
Richard and Flynn.
Yeah! Let's go.
They got it. They got it. They got it.
How
Yeah.
you feeling?
After the last challenge, we were feeling so low, and now we're flying high.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Oh,
guys.
look at how happy they are. Love it.
What do they get?
Love it.
Well, we've got to say goodbye to one of these teams.
Oh, not Corey.
Who's it gonna be?
Come on.
Unfortunately, the team that we have to say goodbye to today is Corey and Travis.
Oh, God, what play
I mean, I just think it was the time that was working against you. I can imagine if you had more time, I would have loved to have seen how it all came together.
We really put our effort into it.
Oh, man.
And we're glad that we learned a lot.
Corey, Travis, I'm going to miss you guys. You're awesome dudes. So keep your
Yeah.
chins up.
Oh,
But
man.
unfortunately,
man.
your Lego adventure ends here. Please turn in your minifigs and say goodbye.
We didn't make it to the grand prize. We're not Lego masters, but we're not defeated.
So we're definitely going to continue
Yes, you are.
building.
Yes, you are.
We're going to continue
You're
learning.
Lego Masters and I'm
We're Lego masters.
Having my brother as my
got
teammate
to
for
the
Lego
show.
Masters was an amazing experience. I
You
wouldn't
got
trade it for
three.
anything.
You got the 3-1 in. Oh, man.
You know, the challenge seemed like it was that blend of like creativity and open-endedness, but you have to remember that main, you know, what you started with. You got to like pay homage to that thing. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, like technically, I think Corey, I actually really like their idea.
Yeah,
You know, with
I
the
love their
car, the horsepower going into a car and having like candy in it and containing this thing is a great idea. But like technically, to get that whole thing that size and up and attached was just overwhelming for the
It's just
time.
yeah.
What do you think about it?
I mean, I come from the standpoint of like, I'm so excited Flynn won, right? And I'm so sad that Corey's out. Like I'm like, oh, one playable person, oh, another one's out. So I'm like, oh, that's tough.
I think it's the heart stuff. It's how Corey acted in Lost, and to me, I am more proud of that than anything else I've seen. To see him, like his heart go to his brother and worry that he's like letting down his brother, and to see how much that meant to them.
Yeah.
And even though it didn't work, they didn't just hang their heads. They you know, Corey brought it at the end.
Right.
You know, turning around and trying to sell it like that. That is like, they crossed that finish line with pride. And I think that is like, honestly, one of the biggest lessons you could learn. I think that was really beautiful. I think another lesson, honestly, is, you know, this is not even technical stuff, is the computer thing, the laptop thing, about, you know, sometimes surprising yourself by, you know, things are going to present themselves, whether it's your life or your work, that are just that blindside you, and you don't think that that's going to work with what you want to do. And I love that those guys, you know, were bummed about it, and then they brought out a really creative thing. So those two things I think are actually my favorite lessons I would want kids to come away with, that it doesn't really have anything to do with Lego. Lego wise, I think it's a lot of what you were talking about with clarity and cleanliness. It's like figuring out the, you know, the focal point of your story, and not allowing that to really be developed and brought out in your build, and clean, you know, the clarity of that and the cleanness of it is so big. And a lot of that is driven by having a clean story. If your story is like all over the place, you're going to get distracted as you go and like add on all these other crazy things, and that's how it will be conveyed. It will look distracted and all over the place and disjointed.
The fact that Corey and his brother brought it at the end, you know, they had to do the turnaround. I mean, they had to sell it. I mean, they're like, this is it. It's just, it's tough, but I really love that they had each other's back. That was really great. I also really appreciated seeing Flynn and his partner, you know, and how they were like, you know, from the last episode to this episode, and kind of like the evolution of it, and how like they really took big risks in this one, especially with the eyeball that was moving, as well as the gearing, which we love to see hard. And also, I don't know if people appreciated Aaron's build so much, because they went through it really quickly, but the fish that were moving, as well as the ship that was popping up and down. And if you notice, it was like this rotating, and they were hitting like a curved Lego piece to pop it up. And I was like, dude, this is
bumping this thing. I saw that knob gear. Like, boop, boop.
Yeah, like this is cool.
Yeah,
like,
great.
yes, maybe it wasn't gigantic, you know, and maybe they expected more because he had just built a Ferris wheel, you know, 2 episodes ago. But man, still, it was super complex and complicated, and it had a lot of moving parts. It even had the moving, like, not everyone else had the moving stuff. So I don't know if they gave enough credit to them, because they were doing a lot of cool engineering that is super hard to do.
Yeah, I think one of the cool engineering things that you reminded me of too, like across the whole, you know, a lot of the builds, whenever there's the intermittent motion is really cool, because motors will spin consistently.
Yeah.
But when you can make that happen so that something, once in a while, the eye twitches and twitches and waits and twitches and waits and twitches and waits, or the boat pops and waits and pops and waits. That simple thing of turning continuous motion of a motor into something that like boop, boop, and like, you know, has pauses, is a magical thing. And I think it was really cool to see that in both of the Play Well, you know, winners builds. They both had that. They both had the thing popping and the eye going back and forth, flicking. It's pretty fun to see.